first of all, if people don't know who you are, your name's Ivory Hecker, and you were the girl. It was in, I believe, in the summer of 2021, where you were on Fox News, and you pretty much said you had enough, and they were putting a muzzle on you and wouldn't let you say anything, right? And that was it.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet, awesome. Now, also another weird question. I saw a video of you playing the guitar, so you're like a singer and stuff too.
I
You, why don't you post that kind of content? That's like,
ended up creating a separate Instagram page to post my guitar. It's so interesting. I have played guitar since my teens and 19. Songs, I started to write songs. They just started to come to me. I never planned to be a songwriter,
yeah.
and they just started to flow out like beautiful songs. And so I wrote them down, and I was like, I should share these with people. And it was what was his name? This guy. I was talking to this guy, and he said you really need to create a separate Instagram account for that because the people who follow your news do not want to hear about music. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's what I did.
Do you still wait? Do you post on there now or no?
My music page, yeah,
You do? Okay. See,
yeah.
I had no idea. That's really neat. So, but you don't want to make a
Ivory
career.
lyrics on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't want to make a career out of it. You just want to do it just to share the message of.
Yeah, well, because it just feels, music feels good, you know, it's peaceful, and I just enjoy it. So
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what's up. So what? When you were a kid, so when I was a kid, I wanted to be an archaeologist. Is what I wanted to dig up dinosaur bones. That was what I wanted to do. What did you want to do when you were a kid? Like, did you always want to do? I mean, I'm sure you weren't like, I'm going to be a reporter or I'm going to like. What was it you wanted to do?
oh my gosh, I wanted to be an archaeologist for a while too.
No joke, seriously.
And I wanted to discover the sea creatures in the ocean.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what my cousin is actually going to college for that. He's all into to the ever since he was a kid, he could name off every species of shark, anything you can think of, since he was probably 3 or 4 years old. So he's yeah.
I actually wanted to be a singer for a while when I was a kid, and I totally forgot about that. And then when the songs started to come to me, a bunch of people started to ask me to do music gigs. I started doing all these paid music gigs, and suddenly I was making money as a musician. And then that memory came back, and I was like, oh, I'm fulfilling something from childhood. And
Dude.
but then when I went viral with Fox, there were so many people begging me to cover their stories that I just set music aside completely. And
Yeah.
after a while, you know, a couple of years of doing independent journalism, I was just like, I'm denying an important part of myself that needs the music. And so I started to bring music back into my.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's pretty neat stuff. So are you from Texas originally?
I grew up in Wisconsin, and I moved to Texas in 2017 because Fox recruited me here.
Oh man, well, I mean, you're back there now, so Texas.
Yeah.
I lived in Tennessee for a while. We live in North Carolina now. We really like it here. Not far, a couple hours from the Asheville areas, around Pilot Mountain, Mount Airy. It's a real, very, very beautiful place. The people here, I've done a lot of traveling too, and everywhere we go, it just seems like everybody's just angry all the time. Like everybody's just in a bad mood everywhere you know what I mean? It's just
Like everywhere in the country or everywhere in North Carolina?
pretty much no, everywhere in the country, like everywhere that
Yeah.
we go, it's just like everybody. I mean, is frustrated, obviously, with all the stuff going on, but it just seems like a lot's changed since 2020.
Many
Obviously,
unhappy people.
yes,
Yeah, I
exactly.
think
Like,
the pandemic had this ripple effect that is still not done with. Like, the
yeah,
pandemic upended so many people's lives, and they're still trying to pick up the pieces.
they are. And a lot of people don't know how to. I guess that we're away from society for so long. They don't know how to re-engage. And as far as people's social skills, things are a lot different now. Just as something as simple as meeting somebody and hey, how are you doing? And a handshake. I don't get the same vibe. And I'm a real friendly. I get along with everybody, but I don't get the same vibe off of people that I did prior to. You know what I mean? So it kind of sucks, I guess.
I know, but I think, I have pondered all of that as well. And the best thing you can do is, someone said, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. So I have to say, I'm going to be my pre pandemic self. I'm going to be my 2019 self. And I'm going to believe in others around me to be that as well, that we can
That's right.
be that wonderful person that we. 2019 was the best year of my life.
Was it?
And I'm still trying to get back to it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and it's so interesting because I'm actually more successful now, but I was happiest in 2019.
Well, I think you'll get back there. You seem to have it going on pretty good.
It's something I've been working on. I think it's interesting as content creators. I think you and I talked about this of like, what are we putting out to the world? Like, are we putting out stuff that is going to make people feel uneasy and add negativity to their lives, or are we gonna be a dose of something that is gonna empower them and encourage them? And so
Exactly.
I've really been trying to be conscious about making that shift with what I put out, that it helps and empowers others.
Exactly, because you want people to look back and get something out of it. Because a lot of the truth stuff, I've had a lot of issues with almost losing my accounts several times. I mean, so now the stuff I post is like very vague, and some of it'll be satire, or because if I go too hard on them, then it's misinformation, it's losing your account. But I feel like I can take this opportunity to help people, like what you were just saying, with wholesome content and just trying to help people get stuck out of the 9 to 5 mindset, because there's so many people that are stuck getting up, going to work, coming home, eating, going to bed, paying your bills, staying broke. There's so many people that I know. I'm not a millionaire by any means, but being a content creator has given us a lot more room to breathe, financially, and we can move around. 9-year-old, we just started homeschooling him, and that's going very, very well. Like he's a smart kid anyway. It's pretty good stuff.
I love to hear that because I'm a huge fan of it. I don't have kids yet, but I was homeschooled, and my siblings and I were homeschooled, and I really believe in homeschooling. It worked great for me, but then when you tell people about it, it seems so overwhelming. It's like, how can I pull off homeschooling? So to hear you say it's doable and it's going.
Oh, it's awesome. So it's better for the kids because, in my opinion, I'm not saying teachers are bad. There's a lot of wonderful, wonderful teachers, but the way the systems, as we know, is set up, you sit there for 8 hours, you get told what to do, and the stuff that they're teaching is just not. Which I know that's getting all redone now. I think it's going to take a while for the education system to get, I guess, fixed or made better. But it's working really well for us because we go at our own pace. And the one we do is called The Good and the Beautiful. They've got an Instagram page. They got a decent social media following, but they teach the Constitution. He's got all kinds of stuff in there that he wasn't learning in school. He can pick us electives, like we go outside and pick out different plants and stuff, and we travel to the beach and look at the shells and just different. It's really, they do it as a group. We can all, I've got a 2-year-old also. And then my wife and I, the way they set the math problems up, in order to complete the problem, you have to do 10 jumping jacks. So they incorporate exercise, which is very, very important. A lot of people don't exercise anymore. I mean, I just lost about 100 pounds just from cutting out. Well, it took about a year and a half, but from cutting out all the processed foods and red dyes and all that mess, I was 300 pounds almost on the dot. I weigh about 210 now. So my wife too, she lost like 95 pounds as well. People don't realize once you start eating healthy, you start feeling better. Once you quit eating, fast food and, candy bars and all, it's hard to when you're doing it. But once you break away, your mind clears up. And that was my next question for you. What about fasting? Tell me about that.
Yes, so I've been focusing on mindset so much. I think that we don't realize how programming from society teaches us how to think, and then the way we think guides our entire life. And so if you can harness your mind and use it appropriately, your life can really flourish and you can be very happy. So I was diving deep into mindset, and there were a couple of things that were not going the way I wanted them to in life. And so when things are not working out, like you dreamed of things being this way and they're this way, then you naturally have resistance. You get sad or frustrated, and you start, your brain, your thought, the little voice in your head just starts going of like, why did this have to be this way? I did everything right. This isn't fair. That person sucks. How do I get out of this? Maybe if I do that, maybe if I do that, and then your brain starts to come all these strategies, and then it's just haunting your brain like nonstop, and then and it pulls down your whole mood. You start to doubt yourself. So if you can surrender, I think the foundation of shifting your whole life is surrender, which surrender is being able to accept what is without resistance and have faith that the future is bright and that your present is bright and that you're safe right now and you'll be safe in the future, and the past is not going to haunt you. You can let go of everything and allow it to be what it is. And so I was focusing a lot on surrender, and then was staying with my best friend in Colorado for about a month, and I was like, let me find a church while she's there, because church just feeds my soul. I didn't go to church for like over a decade because I grew up around some toxic churches, but I happened to find a church around 2020 that was really wonderful, and so now I just love church. And so I found this church, and it's just like this huge dose of positivity every Sunday. And so I my second Sunday at the church, they were like, we are going to do 21 days of prayer and fasting. And I was like, let's go. Let me do it. I love challenges like that. And I loved that they were doing it for spiritual reasons, because a lot of people fast for health reasons. But I wanted to heal my soul. And so I dove into the prayer and fasting. I asked the pastor how to fast. At first he said, well, you could just drink water, and his wife was there, and she was like, no, that is going to be way too intense for 21 days. You're going to wither away. But no, actually, when I was a kid, my mom did fast only water for 21 days. She had gotten Lyme's disease. And she was told your Lyme's disease will heal if you fast 21 days. She did it, and she healed. And her body completely regenerated. So there are massive physical health benefits from fasting. Your body goes into super healing mode. And so that was also awesome to know that, okay, I'm going to fast for spiritual reasons, but it'll also be good for me physically. Anyway, but the pastor's wife was like, just don't, you need some sort of food. And he was like, okay. Then he said, you can eat before sunrise and after sunset. Well, the sun rises pretty early, so I was like, let me just fast. I'll just eat after sunset, which was about 5 o'clock in Colorado. I would just fast all day and then eat whatever I wanted after 5. And so it was intermittent fasting. I looked up what is this kind of fasting, and I realized this is Ramadan fasting. This is what the Muslims do, which...
What I did, the 16-hour fasting, but you were doing it for longer though, right? Was it longer than 16?
So, because I would eat from like 5 o'clock till like 11 p.m. or whenever I would go to bed.
Yeah. So that's like 18, 19. Yeah. So I cut you off. So that's the same thing that Ramadan, the Muslims do, right?
Yeah. And so I was like, let me look up the studies on this. And there were actually all kinds of scientific studies on Ramadan fasting, and it was super good for you. Like physically would it would help cure cancer. One of the studies said.
That's incredible. That's incredible. We're not taught that.
Yeah, it would help cure like type 2 diabetes and...
What about I heard Alzheimer's too. Somebody said that it can do something with Alzheimer's. Like it can, if you're, I guess, genetically prone to get it, that it decreases your chances. So that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and it helps your mind. So the studies showed that if you fast for a day, you'll get pretty agitated, you'll get hangry. But if you keep going for at least 5 days, your mind, your thoughts and emotions will start to heal, and your body starts to naturally create higher levels of serotonin.
You just start feeling better all the way around.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I had interviewed this health coach last year, and he was in the middle of a 40-day fast, just water. And I
Man.
talked to him like 20 days in or something, and he was feeling awesome. He was like just a bundle of bright light energy, and he's like, yeah, I can't wait for 40 days. Maybe I'll go longer.
Oh, man. No, water only too.
And it's very anti-aging too. Fasting is anti-aging.
Yeah. So highly recommended. People should definitely try that.
Yes. And my best friend thought I was absolutely nuts for fasting, and she was like trying to peer pressure me into more food. But when I told her the anti-aging benefits, she's like, you know what? I'm going to try that for a day.
Yeah, heck
Love it.
yeah. I've got lots of wrinkles. Yeah, I'll be 38 in July, so I'm almost to the 40 marker. So I probably should try something, I guess. So what did it do for you spiritually, though? Did it? I mean, it allowed you.
Yeah, so with the fasting, I had an intention of surrender. I wanted to stop having resistant thoughts and emotions to what is. I wanted to accept what is, trust God a lot more, and just have confidence that God has my best interest going forward. And so with the prayer and fasting, the church was meeting, like people who were participating could meet at the church to pray together every day. And I was like, this is perfect because it's easy to set a mental intention and then get distracted from it. But if you make a commitment to like meet with people who are also on the same mission every day, that'll keep you on track and keep you from getting distracted. Because I've learned that just like dieting takes so much discipline, mental discipline is just as hard, if not harder.
Yes, it really does. It's like, so those people got used to seeing you and talking to you, so they were probably relying on you to show up to help keep them accountable. So that's pretty cool too, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, so the church, they had a 6 a.m. prayer meeting and a noon prayer meeting. And I was like, I'm going to pick 6 because I want to be with the most serious crowd.
That's
And so
right.
I showed up first day of prayer, and the lady in charge, they had men's prayer and women's prayer. The woman handed out a book called I Surrender All. And I was like, what an omen from God that I'm on the right path to surrender, because I didn't surrender was my spiritual intention, but now we're all going to be reading a book about surrender together. I Surrender All by Priscilla Shirer. And so we went through this book. We read the whole book in 21 days throughout the course of the fast. And we would pray together and focus on surrendering, on letting go. There was a passage in the Bible that she included in the book saying that Jesus said that he who tries to save his life will lose it, but he who loses his life for my sake will save it, which is it is the story of, it's everyone's surrender story is the same, that once you're surrendered when you're willing to completely give it up, or, to say this has been taken from me and that's okay. Then it actually gets given back to you.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with never having it back. That's surrender, and then you can have it. And so Jesus taught surrender too. And so we focused in on all this, and throughout each day, I would be focusing on surrender, and so making note of my thoughts. And it was just so interesting to me how deep the programming of your entire life can be. We don't realize that we've built these mental programs into our head of reverting back to the problem, instead of trusting the solution and trusting the future and the present. And so I would, get into a mental state in prayer group, come home, and then a few minutes later, I'm thinking about the problem again.
Yeah, I'm so bad about that. I'm not anywhere near like I used to be. Horrible about that. So were you able to like quit thinking that way, or does it still kind of bother?
So it was a slow process of daily being like, I am going to pray now. Okay, my head is filled with thoughts of doubt and fear again. I'm going to pray. I'm going to read this empowering book. I'm going to meditate, which is listen. Prayer is talking to God. Meditation is listening to God. So I'm going to meditate, quiet my mind, and listen. And then I'm going to trust. And so you get back to a good spot of peace in your heart. You're surrendered when you have peace in your heart. And
That's
so
right.
it slowly, the discipline, mental muscle slowly improved over the 21 days until by the end I had like 2 entire days of pure peace with no thoughts of fear and
Whoa.
or no frustrations or anything, just surrender. And so, but you sit there hungry throughout the day. And so every time I was hungry, it would be a reminder, this is my time to pray and focus on surrender rather than using food as my solution. And so in surrendering something physical, it helped surrender.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is, but it doesn't. I used to be a very negative person, and I found out that negativity is very sticky. If you wake up in the morning and you think a negative thought like, oh no, I got. As soon as I'd wake up and I'd start thinking those thoughts, and then throughout that would just stick with me. The first 10 minutes, if I was negative and just kept being negative, then it's there all day, no matter what. I could never shake it. But that's where my prayer meditation came in. So then I turn my mornings into like I work out in the morning, but I always have like a little morning meditation time. I listen to motivational podcasts and stuff. And as cliche as it sounds, the person that got me really this mindset was Tony Robbins. I know it sounds cliche because it's Tony Robbins, but I tell you, I was a construction worker my whole life, and my mom passed away 2 years ago on Christmas Eve. And I told my wife right then, I was like, a few days later, I said, I'm going to retire from construction this year, and I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I had no idea. I wasn't a creator. I wasn't, that. So I tried the affiliate marketing. I bought this little course, and that wasn't for me. I'm not talking crap about them. That wasn't for me, but it did get my mindset in the, people call it a hustler's mindset, survival mindset, or whatever. But mine was pure determination. Like I knew when I told her, when I said, I'm going to retire from construction and lose 50 pounds, it's like it was God. It was a confidence put in me that I knew for a fact. I just knew I was going to retire. I was like, yeah, by my birthday, I'm going to retire. My birthday was in July. And everybody at work was like, no, you're there. How, dude? How? So the affiliate marketing didn't work. So I tried the binary options trading, and that worked okay, but not really. I started losing money, and I was like, dang, man, something's going to come along. And then I just started posting on TikTok, and I was posting random videos. Just I would like ride past the house and just be like, Morgan Wallen's grandma's house or something. Just a funny little stupid video. It was really stupid, really. But I started getting followers, and once I got like 40,000, then I started doing the conspiracy stuff, the UFOs, and just kind of started going with that, and joined the Creator Fund, and made my entire paycheck for the month. I made it in like a week. I said, man, this is it. I'm going to be a content creator. And people gave me so much. I was like, oh, you're going to be TikTok famous, huh? And I was like, well, it's going to be more than that. And yeah, right, man, you're always going to do blah, blah, blah. And my advice to people is I always tell them, don't tell everybody what your plan is. I told several people, yeah, I'm going to retire. And all of them, they'll plant seeds of doubt in your head. They're like, well, what if TikTok gets banned, dude? Or what if they ban your account? Then what? I don't know. It's gonna work out though. And now I've got like 4 or 5 TikTok accounts and a couple of Facebooks, and so now I'm good. I'm established. Pretty much. But I just want to bring more to the table. I want to be able to help people as much as I can, like what we were saying. So I don't know. That's my.
Exactly. 'Cause I was sitting there thinking of like my own mindset journey of like I want to be happy all the time. I just think people don't prioritize happiness enough. Life is so short. We should be happy and having fun as much as humanly possible, like truly happy. And the founding fathers even prioritized
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did.
of happiness. And so I have been on the pursuit of happiness, and in my own journey with pursuing happiness, I know that it's very important to pay attention to what I'm putting into my own mind and thinking about and believing. So if I'm consuming a bunch of other people's content that causes me to get worried or frustrated, that's going to diminish my happiness. And so
Yes.
then I looked at the content I was creating as a newscaster and saying, is this story going to make my audience worried or frustrated? And it'd be like, yeah, so here's how the
Yeah.
government is corrupt and screwing you over.
Yeah.
Like, And it's important to be aware of what's happening in the world. But in the heat of my own happiness journey, I was like, I don't know if I want to be spreading a bunch of unhappiness to others.
Yeah, because I mean, it really does. It's a hard hill to be on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So at this point in my journey, I'm really feeling led to create content that empowers and uplifts people. And I'm probably going to be creating a lot more health content, covering health. Here's how you can heal your body, things like that, because that is uplifting. We all have to, we all consume news for some sort of reason. Like, we want to know what's happening with our government, but also we want news on how to live a healthy life too. So I'm like, as a news person, why don't I shift my news coverage to that, something more empowering?
Yeah, I think that's what I've been thinking too. The healthy stuff, I did a little bit of it for a little while, and then I kind of veer off in all kinds of directions, with mine. But yeah, I think like exercises and too, just like showing dads at the house, simple dumbbell workouts, because I had two little 25-pound dumbbells. That's all I had. That's it. I had nothing else. I did push-ups and I did a bunch of different dumbbell exercises, and that was enough for me for a while to get me going. So with a lot of people, when you go to start eating healthy, and I never really drank sodas recently, Coca-Cola and all that, but a lot of people do, like my wife. So she went to like Diet Coke first, then she went to water, and she's way more strict than I am with the whole dieting thing. Like yeah, but that's what we tell people, instead of trying to just say, hey, I'm going to cut out every, this, that's hard. It's kind of overwhelming at first, no more fast food, no more Coca-Cola, no more sugar, no more the, so just taking baby steps, is what I recommend.
Yes, and I actually used to create a lot of health and fitness content. I'd post
Hey,
a
your
lot.
your mic's a little quiet.
I'm sorry, is this better?
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay. I used to post a lot about fitness because I was on my own fitness journey before the pandemic. And people would tell me, thank you so much for sharing what's worked for you. It's helping me. And then I stopped doing that because everyone asked me to cover government corruption because that was the big monster we were all facing in 2020, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm feeling led to go back to some of the other things, which government. I feel like we've tackled that monster pretty well as Americans.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us.
Hit it head on for sure.
I'm proud of us.
Yes, it's time for some relief.
Now let's tackle the monster within and say,
Yes,
are we happy and healthy?
that's right. That's exactly right.
We had our battle wounds and we won. Now let's be happy and healthy.
That's right. Time to enjoy it and not be so stressed out. I mean, it really makes a difference. Exercise makes such a difference, and people don't realize I don't have time. I said the same thing. I don't have time. I can't. You have time. You just have to make time and just get past a little bit of friction in the beginning, the first couple days or week or whatever. Trust the process. That's the best way to do it, is what I think.
Amen. Yeah. Do it. And I want to do more podcasts like this too. Maybe you could come on mine.
Yes.
You could come on my health YouTube and talk about your fitness journey.
Yes. Heck yeah. So like walking around and seeing all these overweight people, I just want to try to help them. I don't know. I feel very, very led to I just want to help as many people as I can at this point, whatever way I can. I don't know how. I've always felt in my heart. I'm going to change the world. I've really always felt that. I think you probably have too. It's like a higher calling, and that's definitely from God, 1,000%.
Yeah.
So
I feel
awesome.
the same. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you very much, Miss Ivory. It was very nice to meet you. Okay.